You are a coon, and that is absolutely okay because I am not God. I am not here to judge you. I just would like to identify you as such. Hi, my name is Ro. This is my commentary channel, my review channel, my whatever I want to do channel, and today we're talking about coonery. So you would not believe that this is my third time doing this video, so sorry if the intro is very short and sweet.
Clap if you care. All right, let's move on. Perfect.
I'm kind of annoyed at this point. I kind of like starting putting my earrings and in the beginning of the video. I don't know, it's our thing. Okay, and I'm sorry it took me 3 weeks to get back to this, okay? I realized if I want to become a famous commentary channel, then I have to do this shit more than once every 3 weeks. But we're learning. So we're gonna talk about the myth of Black conservatism. And I went to work today, which is why I'm actually wearing a shirt today. And I did do my mascara and eyebrows, but for some reason when I decided to wipe my face, I wiped my eyebrows. So we get to do that again. Fun, right? I would first like to say that if you identify as a Black conservative in America, you aren't. You are a coon, and that is absolutely okay because I am not God. I am not here to judge you. I just would like to identify you as such. And you need to be seen for who you really are. And who you are is okay as long as it's okay with you. Don't come for me. In my opinion, everything in here is my opinion. Don't take it for fact. This is just my idea with a culmination of Google research. Shit you can find on Google or that you can read in books. I've read books. So, you know. But I also got a lot of information from the web. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, because this is just I've been thinking I had to get off my chest. Okay. I feel that a true African American cannot be a conservative if you genuinely identify with Black cultures, specifically Black American culture, and respect yourself as a Black person in America. You cannot morally adhere to American conservatism, okay? And American conservative values. Black people, and I can genuinely only identify with Black people in America when I'm speaking to this topic, even though I am half Nigerian. I was raised in Texas, in the South. So in this essay, I'm only speaking from the Black American perspective, angle, and experience. I feel that this speaks for really any Black person in any country that was once colonized, specifically colonized by European countries. But for the Black American, you're inherently more socialist. And as Black people in America, we have every single equality and right. I feel like I'm not speaking loud enough. I'm sorry. Yeah, I feel like I could holler. As Black people in America, we have every single equal right we have due to liberation and socialist ideas. When civil rights activists opened the door for Black men and women, it did not simply close for every single other marginalized person. I'm sorry, that's my dog. She has opinions as well. It will remain open for other minorities and the LGBTQ plus community as well. And the only conservative Blacks that I can recognize as true conservative Black people of America are the Uncle Ruckuses and the Coons and the people who intended to be massa or the white hand's favorite.
And I
hope I don't sound too cruel as I'm saying this, because I can understand that some people might take this shit to heart. If you know what? Like, who get, like, genuinely, I probably don't agree with what you have to say if you're a Black conservative, genuinely. I probably, like, we probably don't have same ideas anyway, so I look crazy. But we always know trust the process, okay? Trust the process. We're here for a long time and a good time. The historical definition of conservatism is a cultural, social, and political philosophy an ideology that seeks to preserve and promote traditionalist institutions, institutions, customs, and values. The central tenets of conservatism may vary in relation to the culture and civilization in which it appears. In retrospect, American conservatism usually encompasses views on a wide range of policies, including social policies, fiscal, foreign, and national defense. At least I know most Southern conservatives largely support Christian values, moral absolutionism, and American exceptionalism, while generally opposing abortion, euthanasia, and various LGBTQ plus rights. At a quick glance, a more ignorant person. Damn, I was going in. I be going in when I'm writing this. I be going in, and then when I'm saying it back, I be like. Anyways, at a quick glance, a more ignorant person might nod their head to what they might find an understanding within these values, these beliefs, and these are arguments that I hear from coworkers, even social associates, and like from other minorities themselves. Very surprisingly, you will find there are a lot of conservatives on HBCU campuses. I was like, wow. Then you'd be surprised, like everyone in the class looks at that person and they'd be looking at you like, you looking at them like, maybe like, well, I'm South. However, there is only one specific American race that truly benefits from traditional American values. If we think about the conservative values that built this country, it was at the expense of every single other race within the country that was not specifically. The two more notable races that were hit the most earlier on during the formation of traditional American values were Native Americans, but also Black people. And later on, I would say the Irish and the Italians, because y'all are the first Black people in this country.
Oh my God, who said that? Who said that? Why would you say that? You know America is sensitive. America, cover your ears, girl.
I don't want to get into that today. When I questioned the Black conservative, oh my gosh, like why am I like, body help me? Can you help me? Oh my gosh, look how, what was I doing over here? Oh my gosh, I like, what? Like, we'll deal with that later. We'll fix that when I do my eyebrows. I'm not going anywhere. Like, how many times do I have to reiterate? I don't go anywhere. When I question the Black conservative, their values usually align with what is morally Christian or what is essential to the societal patriarchy. One of those two, usually. This meaning a cisgendered man leading the family, which inherently and internally leads society, a woman who upholds the patriarchy by doing her womanly roles, aka think of the trad wife that's going around on the TikTok app, you TikTok girlies. And can I say one thing? I'm not getting into it today because I feel like this is a different video, but Black women have always worked in this country, and I can't stand when I see them red pill videos with Black men talking about, y'all just need to stay in the house and cook for your man. Not that Black women should always have to work in this country, but we have always worked in this country, even during the traditional conservative times. We went from being slaves to maids to office women and business women and being Beyonce. Where are y'all getting that we just always got to sit and be pretty, right? That's a different story. Like I was saying, woman who is a trad wife, and somewhere in between there's a mix of capitalism, because we love our entrepreneurs and our business people and free market system and all of that shit. And I don't mean to typecast, but genuinely question the Black conservatives that you know, and it's a whole bunch of jibber jabber about like women stay in the house, men go to work, and I just want to make money. Capitalism. America.
Do it. Just say it. If you're not equipped, just say that.
I already said I'm not equipped.
If you can't do simple instructions, tell me.
Money. Wife in the house making babies. Money. Babies. Food on the table. I say all this shit, all of this I'm saying, is to sum up the fact that the issue is that traditional American conservatism is just white nationalism. I think so. That's what I think. So, you know, I like to break shit down into chapters. I don't know if I really did that or if I rambled, but we're going to break it down. The birth of American nationalism. America was built on the us versus them mentality. Colonialists had many grievances with the British rule and felt unfairly governed. Yeah, I'm going to give y'all a little history lesson, but like Russ Owens way, okay? This led to the American nationalist mindset, Thomas Paine's Common Sense. I don't know if you've read it. In in Thomas Paine's Common Sense, his main argument was American colonies should declare independence from Great Britain and form a new democratic republic. He argued that British rule was inherently unjust and that the colonies were better off governing themselves. Paine also challenged the legitimacy of the monarchy and hereditary power. Hereditary power means that, hey, God said that this family is going to rule and be richer than everybody, and you just got to do what the fuck they say. And they children is gonna rule after them, and them children's children and children's children, until someone decides, I don't like that, maybe fights, the other person takes over, and now they got hereditary power and they children's children. Monarchy and hereditary power, they challenged it and advocated for a system based on representative government and popular consent. Worry. That sounds smart. Through this work, Republican nationalism was birthed, and the revolution laid the foundation for the Republican form of nationalism, emphasizing self-governance and individual rights. You know those two. But here's the catch. Everybody, why am I talking like that? You know, I was like, I'm gonna record tonight because I got a little more personality tonight. And I know I'm not gonna have it in the morning, and I'm just giving a lot of myself. I'm giving all of me. The revolution laid the foundation for self-governance and individual rights. However, the catch, the gag, and the tea was everyone wasn't considered an individual with rights.
You want I should treat them like white folks?
No. That's not what I said.
I just get to watch me like talk and waste makeup. Can you believe it? Like, I do this for free. I just do it for the love of the game. Because I like to yap, and I can't annoy Tiana for the rest of our lives. Like, I have the rest of our lives to annoy her, but I can't do this forever. Eventually, she has to go to sleep because she has work. If you didn't know, I don't know how you wouldn't know, But I need to get my blush, actually, so I'll be right back. If you didn't know, then trigger warning, I'm going to tell you that the black people who fought in the American Revolution were slaves. If not all, so many. So, it's not funny.
By myself. Everybody else
What
is
the?
I'm sorry. I get nervous laughter. The black people who fought in the American Revolution were slaves. Approximately 500,000 African Americans lived in the colonies at the start of the war. I'm talking over this. I hope I'm talking over this. At the start of the war, with 450,000 of those African Americans being enslaved. It is sad, Phoebe. It's so sad. Phoebe's sad about that shit. The Founding Fathers had slaves not fighting for their own freedom, but for the freedom of the American white man against the tyrannical rule of the British white man. Yeah. With that in mind, you want to convince me that conservative values benefit me somehow in between all of this. You know, it's different, but I'm gonna put a little on top of the lid. Like, does it really bring me to life? Does that really bring me to life or something? Like, I mean, my blush is actually eyeshadow. Don't tell anyone, but I be hitting it. Yes, and I broke this part. It was in such great condition until probably last month. I be hitting it with that 1-2. That 1-2 really gets it done. It really gets it done. It gets it done. The Founding Fathers knew they would need slave labor, and once the American Revolution was won, did they let the slaves who helped them win this war free? Absolutely not. Because they knew they would need slave labor to build the country. Without slave labor, America, as the infant it was at the time, could not develop into the great nation it's known as today. So they had to put things.
You need to leave.
I'm gonna have to cut that out. Is that too insensitive? I'm so sorry. Oh my god. I will get canceled before I ever start, I swear. I want to get on Love Island. Have you ever watched Love Island? I want to be on Love Island, but they would kick me out of there in a jiffy. So when they did develop this new nation, they created a Declaration of Independence. You know her. We all know her. Which stated that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, among these, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But the catch-22 was slaves were not considered men. They were considered property, and the white man's birthright was to own and protect their property. I think everybody was gagged at that moment. They were like, what? That is not what they were saying on the pamphlet when we were signing up for this draft. Like, what? What are y'all talking about right now? Like, the hell? What the hell? Liberalism is the belief in freedom, equality, democracy, and human rights. It's historically associated with thinkers such as John Locke, Montesquieu, with constitutionally limiting the power of the monarch, affirming parliamentary powers and supremacy, passing the Bill of Rights, and establishing the consent of the governed. I be reading when I be trying to say everything right, because I could really talk how I want to, really come out how I'm supposed to. We're going to take it back a little bit. If I can throw up a timeline here, I will, and you will see it. If not, I just did this for no reason. This hand motion, I did that for no reason. I have to mention, at this time, we're now into the Civil War era-ish. It was a Republican Lincoln that freed the slaves. We see that I'm not doing my eyebrows. Ooh, can I? I'm going to say that now because the Republicans in the comments will let me know, right? However, what we perceive as the Republican and Democratic Party today was actually backwards back in the day, okay? So they were flipped. Parties were not initially like racial. You know how people say black people usually vote Democrat, white Southerners usually vote Republican. You know how they say things like that. It wasn't initially like racial, actually, because if you weren't white, you couldn't vote. They were geographical at this time. So Republicans were up north and Democrats were down south. So then black men are made citizens after slaves are free, and they can vote because you gotta remember at the time women can't vote. And they start voting Republican because that's the Northerners' vote, and Northerners freed slaves. However, everybody white was conservative because that was the way of life. Like, it wasn't like conservatives were just a certain type of people. If you were white, you were conservative. Hold on. When I went to do my eyebrows on camera, I almost quit. Like, I almost said I quit all of this because I hate how my makeup looks. Like, my eyebrows look super witchy for some reason, thin and witchy. My face needs exfoliating because I could tell, like, I just need to, like, get this whole layer of my face off. Like, I was very annoyed. Where was I? So the Republicans were up north, the Democrats were down south. Black people become citizens, black men specifically, because like I said, women can't vote. Sorry, girls. When black people get the right to vote, they start voting Republican because I feel like my head looks weird. They start voting Republican because the Northerners freed the slaves. Everyone who is white is pretty much conservative because that was the way of life at the time. It was more liberal for you to believe that black men should have certain rights as white men, but you're conservative enough to know that the white person is still granted certain rights at life that black people are going to be hindered at, and that is all over the country, all over the world. So, like I was saying, everyone white was conservative, and black people at the time just wanted the freedom and the ability to build their own community within this big country. Because at the time, there were already freed people up north, and there were the recently freed people down south. There were free people from the south moving up north. Like, there were free people from the north moving down south because there's all this land, because plantations are shit being dismantled. For many black people everywhere, people had adopted the ideology of take care of your own. It was more closer to socialism than the capitalist society whites were living in at the time, and we all live in today. Black people went from free/forced labor on plantations to payment through bartering and survival within their own communities. At this time, when black businesses grew exponentially up to the point that it might have competed with the nearby white businesses, in the white capitalist market, they were either bought out by the white business, run out of town, or intimidated, or completely destroyed altogether. Go ahead and take the quick 15 seconds it would for you to Google Black Wall Street. Republicans ran the White House primarily for the next 100 years. So when they say this, when you hear these arguments, they're not wrong. They just don't have the correct context. What Republicanism stood for during this time frame is what is considered modern-day progressive democratic views.
Well, there it is. There you go.
What you mean by that?
There it is. There you go.
Stay with me. It's a bunch of information overload, and we're about to get into some more. But I'm going to try to be entertaining.
You can't take my joy, devil.
So we're going from the Jim Crow/Civil Rights era, where the political parties were switched. We're in the Woodrow Wilson, FDR era, and the South is poor as shit. Okay? We don't got no more free whoa, baby. Whoa.
Hold on now.
Damn.
Well, The South don't got no more free slave labor. The North don't want to help because they got old grudges. And the South realizes they're going to need the assistance of Black Southerners who have been forced to seclude themselves for their own safety. Southern Black Democrats realize they're not going to have to appeal to the Black vote for the first time. FDR, who was cousin to Teddy Roosevelt, grew up in a Republican home, Republican ideals, with Republican ideas, and was expected to run as a Republican. However, he decided to shake the table. And guess what? Everyone sat down. He was very smart because he knew he had the values, the backing, and the policies to win. But with the Great Depression looming over everyone, people were just getting tired of the Republican Party. You know, during like times of like terrible shit, you blame who's ever in office, and the next guy who usually wins is someone who is completely opposite of the last guy in office. So what he did was keep many of his values, many of his ideas, the things he held near and dear to his heart, but he just decided to run as a Democrat, and the shit worked. Sorry, I had to scratch my ankle, but the shit worked. Southerners who voted for him didn't want more rights for Black people by any means necessary. Like, they didn't, that's not why they voted for him. But they realized and saw for the first time that being poor and white was just one step up from being essentially a nigger.
You need to leave, bitch.
They wanted to widen that gap. So how do they do that? They get money and make it harder for everyone else to get money. Boom, smack, bap. So they widen the racial gap financially by improving the white standard of living. And for the first time, everyone was on the same side. Whether you were Black, white, Asian, Latino, Irish, or Italian.
You want I should treat them like white folks?
No. That's not what I said.
We were all capitalists! Yay! Aren't you doing so great? Like, are we doing so good? Are we doing so good? Socialism. Socialism is a political and economic theory of social organization that advocates for the means of production, distribution, and exchange, which should be owned and regulated by the community as a whole. As a whole. So now we're deep in the civil rights era. Let me drink some more water because women's movement. These movements were led by radicals, including socialists like Ella Baker, A. Philip Randolph, Bayard Rustin, and yes, you can lead the Christian church and still be a radical. Like, you can do those two things at the same time. You can be a housewife and a radical. It's not just the free love, hippie, dreads, tree-hugging, ganja-smoking hippies. I said hippie twice. Hope I didn't offend anyone, because it's not just you guys. It's me too. I'm a radical. Ooh, am I supposed to say that? I hope I don't flag myself. I'm a free thinker. I just said it's not just the free thinkers. During the Cold War, anti-communism propaganda was at an all-time and dangerous high. Even today in 2025, many of my Black peers and professors have negative connotations when it comes to communism. I was very shocked. I was very surprised. Oh, my friend is texting me. This girl had me in my video to check out the new Justin Bieber and Drewski song. Like, what? I'm gonna listen to it afterwards. At the time and now, there's a clinging to traditional values in the good American capitalist society. Black people were afraid to lean into their socialist views, as many Black leaders were being murdered and prosecuted. I don't know if I can say that N-word. What if I told you Martin Luther King Jr. was not killed over racism? What if I told you he was not murdered for his dream of Black and white children playing together and holding hands and kicking feet in the dirt and building sandcastles that touch the sky?
What?
He wasn't killed for causing one of the world's and history's largest crowds of people to march on a nation's capital. What if I told you? They got him gone. Because towards the end of his life, he started to realize that many of his peers and even many of his enemies were correct. Capitalist and conservative values were the causes of the black man's plight.
We were in Bloomingdale's yesterday. I'm like, we have to go to H&M.
Yeah.
The FBI have found that he was becoming a more open socialist towards the end of his life and even considered a radical. And they would rather his legacy resume what we consider it today. I know I might sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist. I know I sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist. But just like sit on that thought for a second. Like, just like entertain what I just said. Just like for a second, entertain it and tell me that it doesn't seem a little plausible. Even a book that I read in college, written by my professor, focused much on his life as a peaceful protester because that was his great legacy, while my professor in person acknowledged that towards the end, he became a little bit of a radical and found his own thoughts a little more familiar with people such as Malcolm X. But hey, it's just a theory. I don't know nothing at the end of the day. I don't know anything at all. Are y'all so proud? I hadn't sang this whole time. And at this time, and like, I guess even now, whatever, I can't blame black people for leaning more right to protect themselves. Literally at this time, socialism equaled communism, and communism equaled death to capitalism, and death to capitalism equaled death to the white patriarchy, and they couldn't have that. They can't have that. The world won't have that.
When will it stop?
Anyone who supported death to the white patriarchy, aka communism, would be removed and were removed. So what happens? I just clapped and like something flew off my finger. Well, what happens is the new wave of activists aren't telling the black community to be self-sufficient. They aren't telling you to only spend your black dollar with black businesses and in black spaces. They aren't telling you that you don't need white society. No, because all of this sounded too closely related to community regulation. Who the fuck do I think I was right there? And they knew damn well Negroes wasn't trying to be communists on this land.
Gyrating all over on this land.
Not on this land is my land, this land is your land. No. The new and safe narrative being pushed at this time was black integration into white society, which will become American society. And I can honestly say that at this time, and even now, this is being pushed by both Republicans and Democrats. As Americans, we were all back to the us versus them mentality. But now black people were being tricked into thinking that we were now an us. Now we're passionate to fight in a world war for our country, not realizing we're the ones being put on the front line once again. And when we come home, we would still be mistreated. And when I say we, I mean them, because fuck, I look like going to war. Well, in this state of this world, Now let's jump forward today to the YNs out here talking about they want a woman who could cook and care for the house while he goes out to work. They want a good girl who loves the Lord and right under the Lord loves him, okay? And they don't believe in the alphabet community and feels it's a danger to the classic American family, all right? Believing all of those things make them a conservative. When it doesn't. It just makes you homophobic it just makes you a misogynist. And I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not gonna pretend that it's just black men, because my higher ups who are Latina, they agree with a lot of those sentiments as well. So much to the point that early into the 2024 elections, I knew that her and her family were gonna vote Trump because they didn't feel Kamala was qualified enough for the job. They said when she speaks, she doesn't sound smart. And I don't know, something about, I know exactly what about that really upset me, because sometimes I don't always put my words together eloquently. On top of that, I have an accent that a lot of people sometimes think Southerners don't sound smart. The thing about Kamala is she sounds way smarter than me. So is it just it is just you know, because ain't no way in hell you're telling me Donnie sounds smarter than her. With all that saying, I can only speak from my experiences as a black woman and the other black people that I interact with. All of that does not essentially equate to you being a conservative. It might equate you to being a part of a hate group or a good Christian Baptist. But if you're black, none of those beliefs guarantee you a seat at the big white table. And honestly, if you genuinely desire any of those things, you might benefit from unionizing. But that is too far under this presidency. But shout out to Philly. I see y'all doing y'all thing. Yeah. What the white right would have you believe is that the only people of color who practice socialism are the ones who want to compete with the capitalist America. But truthfully, socialism was something built within the black community since the rise of slavery. We all have heard the term take care of our own, which starts from the fact that we could not rely on the white man, their own slave owners, to take care of them or find the value in black life at all. We've done the integration. We went to their schools, we worked their jobs, we played their games, and in some instances, we even performed better than them at their own games. However, look where the fuck we are in 2025. Like, literally. Look where the fuck we are in 2025. Let me put something shiny on these lips. We are still in need of those same things we needed 100 years ago. Basic rights like equal opportunities, better job opportunities, healthcare, affordable cost of living, and the space to speak freely without repercussion. Conservatism isn't the resolution to any of those issues, which is why we have inevitability. Which is why we have inevitably leaned towards a mandate for radicalism. Genuinely, if you want my opinion on the popularized by the white people, black conservatives like Candace Owens, Thomas Sowell, Shelby Steele, Armstrong Williams, Larry Elder, Walter Williams, Jason L. Riley, they are all money-hungry, morally corrupt coons. Don't sue me. I don't have no money for you. But that's just what you is. Many of their arguments that they have for themselves, America, and the black community could stand alone without pandering to a white audience, but they still decide to do it so that whites clap while they dance because they want to be shown appreciation for their dance.
Hey, look at that fucking shoulder. Swag.
In simple terms, these people just aren't like us. And they don't want to be either. And I don't think we should force them, which is why I've made this whole video to identify them. Like, hello. Now we know what we're looking for. Now we know how to find you. Like, should I have more, bro? Now we know what we're looking for, and now we know how to find you. Like, come out of hiding, step to the front, put your baddest bitch on the line. Like I was saying, they don't want to be like us. They want to be like them. And they never will be. But they'll be cool serving as a puppet for their agenda because they rather settle in the proximity to whiteness than settle in their actual blackness.
Well, there it is. There you go.
What you mean by that?
There it is. There you go.
And that's just the truth. That I feel, which is my opinion. So, with all of this being said, I'm not trying to push you either right or left, because at the end of the day, it's two sides of the same coin.
What happened to us? What happened to us? I mean, who are you? Do you know who you are?
Let us never forget that. It's two sides of the same coin. But I challenge you to think outside the box of confinement. Quit thinking of it as a bad thing when they say that black people always have to go against the grain. Because historically, we always have.
That's the kind of blood we have running through our veins. That's the stock that we are made of.
Y'all don't understand what I've gone through to make this video, y'all. Like, this was actually the first video I ever recorded for my commentary channel. Like, not for my true crime. But that video wasn't good. Then I tried to record on Sunday. What's today? Friday? Tried to record on Sunday. You could not like separate my audio from my fans. It was so annoying. So I had to re-record today. But I would like to think I'm gonna have another video out within days. Like, I'm really gonna try to do this, you know? I have a lot of ideas that can't just stay on my computer. So we're gonna try to get something going. I'm never the one to be like, hey, you got to subscribe, because we believe in consent. I don't know what my dog is doing. She's rolling up my carpet. Can you stop? But, you know, tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody to watch this video. That's all. That's the best thing you can do for me, okay? I put on a shirt for you. I can't promise that I can do that again. So, God damn it. Do this one thing for me, okay? Thank you. I'll see you again very soon, hopefully. You guys want to see my shirt? It's a cute shirt. I can't show you my pants because they're cookie shorts. And that's inappropriate for YouTube. But it's a cute shirt, isn't she? Like, she has something going on. I can't promise you that I'll ever come this nice again, all right? You hear my chair cracking? Help me out.